Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, and the first match preview of the 2025 AFL Gather Round, where of course all matches are played in South Australia. Of course, this year, of course, playing. Of course, the same games were last year. Of course, at Adelaide Oval and of course at Norwood Oval, and obviously a new venue at the Barossa, which I watched the Gather Round, show up at the Barossa, which is on our network, broadcasted and by G, the Barossa looks wonderful, and I can't wait to see matches played there. But that's for the future. We're on the present now. We're on to tomorrow. In the immediate future, tomorrow night is the start of it. It's the start of Gather Round between the Adelaide Crows and Geelong. Which is going to be which is just under 24 hours time. As of today, as I'm recording this on the Wednesday, the lineups have gone in, and the changes as well. And I've also got some important statistics here, that will be interesting to see, for you guys to hear leading into the match. And I also will do a prediction as well into this match. So let's get straight to the changes here. So and then I'll get to the full lineups here. So the ins and outs here, for the ins and outs for the Adelaide Crows. The ins are, of course, Zach Taylor and veteran Matt Crouch will be coming in replacement for James Borlas and Lachlan Murphy. While for Geelong, there is a big in for Geelong, that of Mark Blitzarves, and then Mitch Kivett will be in as well, with replacement for Ted Closey and Jack Henry. The milestones, of course, 250 gamers for the Adelaide Crows, one for Max Michelani and James Peterling as well. So 2 milestones in Gather Round for those two guys. So let's get to the team lineups here. So we'll start from the home team. We'll start with Adelaide here. And from the fullback line, you've got Mitchell Hinge, Josh Worrell, and Rory Laird. On the halfback line, you've got Wayne Miller, Mark Keane, and Max Michelani, as I said, in his 50th game. In the centre, you've got Isaac Cumming, Jordan Dawson, and Lachlan Lockie Scholl. On the half forward line, you got Ben Keys, Riley Philthorpe, and Isaac Mr. Guitar Man himself. Isaac Mr. I almost said Quainer for a second. I almost said Quainer. Let me do that again. Isaac Mr. Guitar Man Rankin, who once again played wonderfully well last night. I recommend you going out and finding it. This time he had 12 months to prepare for that performance last night, and he was an absolute superstar with that. And on the full forward line, you got Darcy Fogarty, Taylor Walker, and Alex Neil-Bullen. The followers, of course, Riley O'Brien in the ruck, and then Jake Saligo and James Peterling as ruck, rover, and rover. Now on the interchange bench, you've got Daniel Curtin, Sid Draper, Zach Taylor, Matt Crouch, and Luke Nankervis. And their emergencies are, of course, Sam Berry, James Borlas, and Luke Pedlar as well. So So that's their team there. Now moving on to Geelong now. So from the fullback line, you got Connor O'Sullivan, Sander Koning, and Mark Blitzarves, the big in for them. On the halfback line, you got Lawson Humphreys. Getting names wrong left, right, and centre here. Well, I've only got two, but anyways. Tom Stewart and Zach Guthrie. In the centre, you've got Bailey Smith, Patrick Dangerfield, and Ollie Dempsey. On the half forward line, you got Brad Close, Sean Manor, and Graham Maz there. In the full forward line, you got Shannon Neal, Jeremy Cameron, and Tyson Stengel. The followers, you got Max Holmes. Reece Stanley in the ruck. Then it's Max Holmes and Tom Atkins. On the interchange bench, you've got Mitch Kevett, Ollie Henry, Jack Bowes, Ulson Mullen, I should say, and Mark O'Connor. With their emergencies being Ted Closey, Mitch Duncan, and Oliver Wiltshire. Is the emergencies. Now, so my guess for who will be the subs, I would assume for Adelaide, I think that it could be. I think it could either be Daniel Curtin or Luke Nankervis. I think I might go with Nankervis here, and then for Geelong, that one's a tough one. It could be Jack Bowes. Because he has been in the past, but Geelong been the sub in the past. So you never know with that there. So of course, heading into it, Adelaide, of course, 3-1. They've just come off of their first loss of the season in an absolute thriller against the Gold Coast Suns, and they've been in outstanding form throughout the first period of 2025. While Geelong, they had a great start to the year. They've had stumbles. Of course, we had the St Kilda game where the Saints just came out of the corner for the first punch. They just went whack, and Geelong just weren't prepared for it. And by the time, and Geelong did come back, but it was too late in the end, and obviously pretty much the same thing happened but the opposite happened against Brisbane when they got off to a great start. I think they were like 6 goals up at 3/4 time, and then some point in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden Brisbane came storming back, and they eventually ended up winning the game. So it was important to get the win against the D's last week, which they did. I should say against the struggling D's, I should say, and they did. So basically, a win for Geelong would get them above the 50% win-loss ratio for this year with 3-2. But a win for Adelaide would seriously set up their season. Most definitely set up their season with 4-1. And if that mark, it was funny how that performance set as far as that ranking. That Eddie actually repeatedly asked him the question, should it be a mark? Should it have been a free kick? Yeah, so for me, it should have been a mark and a free kick, or free kick, to be honest. So you could say that Adelaide should have been at least 4-0 to start the season, but yeah. So yeah, so I think, and it's a big game for Adelaide. I mean, this would as I said, this would really do set up their season with 4-1 start. But if they do lose this game, it means that these two are on a level footing at 3-2. So yeah, so a lot riding on this game for both clubs. Let's get to there's so I've managed to find some analysis here on Geelong's website here. Of course, and one thing for sure is that they're gonna have the Geelong defenders are gonna have they're gonna have a fun time dealing with, of course, with that forward line. Of course, as I said, with Rankin, Phil Thorpe, Fogarty, Tex, Keezy, all those guys down there. They're gonna have a lot to deal with. I mean the three-headed monster with Phil Thorpe, Fogarty, and Tex. I mean they've already have, what is it, 26, 36. They already have 36 goals between them already this season in 4 rounds. That is a lot. That is a lot there. And Phil Thorpe is set tight at the top alongside Nick Larkey at the top of the Coleman medal standings. I know it's early days. I know I'm going to say it's early days, but it looks like Phil Thorpe's going to be the big man's going to be in for a big season. Let's put it that way. By the sounds of things, but obviously, and not only that, but not only they have three players in the top 10 in the Coleman medal race. Obviously, Tex in 10th with 10 goals for the season, but they have 2 players inside the top 10 and in terms of marks inside 50. I mean, Phil Thorpe's third in the AFL with 14 marks inside forward 50, and Fogarty is in there as well is in 7th with 12, and then 2 players inside the top 20 in terms of score involvements. Phil Thorpe is on the tick of the top 10 there. So it seems like the Catters will be having a tough time dealing with that forward line, which is operating on all cylinders at the moment, and so it seems like they'll be having a fun time, and also another thing that the midfielders have a fun time in dealing with Jordan Dawson. Obviously, see stats. Obviously, round 1. He had 27 touches, 4 tackles, 65 50s, and two clearances. Two clearances. Then round 2, obviously 33 touches, 6 tackles, 11 inside 50s, and 5 clearances. So he's really starting to obviously get into the season. Obviously, round 3 again against North Melbourne, not as much influence. I mean, 19 touches, 6 tackles, 6 inside 50s, and 6 clearances. But then he was probably best on ground, probably Adelaide's best on ground in the game last week against the Suns with 31 touches, 6 tackles, 8 inside 50s, and 6 clearances. So he's really starting to get into the season there. But he's very much influential. I mean, it says here that that he's also ranked inside the top 20 for tackles inside 50s, uncontested possessions, centre clearances, and goal assists. So he is really important to the Crows, and it's important for Geelong to nullify that. And also the disposal count, obviously. So for Adelaide, this is the big thing here. They have, they've so in the 3 wins, in the 3 wins that they've had this season, 2 of them they've had more possessions than your opposition. plus 79 against St Kilda in round 1, plus 41 against Essendon in round 2, and then obviously less of the ball against North Melbourne in round 3. But even in the loss against the Gold Coast, plus 50 in possession in a game they lost by a point. So yeah. While on the flip side of the table, Geelong are a record of 1-3 in terms of disposal totals. Obviously, they had plus 1 possessions in round 1 against Fremantle, even though they smashed them in round 1. This is where obviously and then minus 68 possessions in round 2 against St Kilda. That's probably one of the reasons why they lost that game, even though they did make a comeback late. Again, behind against Brisbane, minus 27 the differential, and then a big differential in last week against Melbourne, plus 93. Well, not a surprise. Probably Melbourne's poor form has something to do with that. Take a mouthful of drink for a second. So currently right now 3-1 in terms of disposal differential for Adelaide, and obviously the opposite end of the scale for Geelong, 1 and 3 there as well. My tip. My tip and my bold prediction. I think Adelaide it's the third Gather Round. I think Adelaide's opened Gather Round all 3 times. I think they lost against Melbourne. They did. They lost against Melbourne last year, but they smashed Carlton the year before that. When they were opener, I think for me, Adelaide's forward line's probably going to be a bit too much for Geelong's defence. I think for me, it's a possibility this could also be a high-scoring game too. Of course. Let me quickly get it. Let me quickly get some information going here. This is on the fly too, by the way, guys, too. So the average points for Adelaide have averaged the most points with over 125 points per game, while Geelong has averaged 96. While Geelong are the 4th best defence in the league in terms of average points against, with just under 71 averaging 71 points against per game, while Adelaide have averaged just over 85. So there could be the chance that this could be a high scoring game, judging by of course obviously Geelong averaging 96 points per game, and then obviously Adelaide are the top scoring team in the competition right now. So there's more evidence in that this could be a high scoring game here. Game here in Gather Round, and I might need to check this out. I don't think we've had in Gather Round a game that had two teams that had both sides score 100 plus points. I might have to check that. I don't think it's ever happened before in the 2 years of in the last 2 years of Gather Round. Here, here we go. So, try and find it. Here we go. So, no, it hasn't. So this could be the chance for the first time that in a Gather Round match that both sides scored 100 plus points. That could there's a possibility that could happen. To be honest, so I think both sides will score 100 points. That's my bold prediction, and my result is Adelaide by. I'm reading here the article here on AFL.com.au. It says the prediction here is Adelaide by 11. I think it might be more than that. I would guess around, or maybe even less than that. I think Adelaide by 9. I think Adelaide by 9 points. And I think Adelaide might come home. Late and not steal it, but obviously spoil it. Also just get it, and just put the icing on the cake and that sort of stuff. So that possibly could happen in many ways. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this first match preview of Gather Round. Check back tomorrow when I'll preview the Friday night game between Collingwood and Sydney. That's also going to be a good game too. So as I said in my update video that I released today as I'm recording this, I still don't know if on the Friday I will still I'll do the because I think the game starts over here in Victoria. I think it might start. I think all the night games start at 7:40. I think. Yeah. It starts at 7:40. So there might be the possibility that I might do two video. It might do two video. It might still do two videos in one, but I don't know. But as I said in my update video, take it with a pinch of salt, because it might all this video schedule might change between now and of course to Easter time. So like this video, share this to anybody who is an Adelaide Crows fan or a Geelong fan. Comment down below who's your tip to win this match. Do you agree with me in saying Adelaide? Do you disagree with me and say Geelong? Or if or you're straight down the middle and say it could be a draw. You never know, could be a draw. You never know, but anyways, with that, and one last thing, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. It really will help me out quite a bit, as it's going to be a massive couple of weeks, a massive fortnight for the channel, obviously with Gather Round, and then obviously the Easter weekend as well, and then also you count that as well, the Anzac weekend as well. It's going to be a busy month on this channel. That is for sure. But until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.